Welcome, troops, to another action-packed edition of SOS. I am General Stames, sitting to my left, Hollywood Edwards. And Hollywood, we're in studio today to talk about Impact Wrestling, the Thursday night WrestleMania weekend edition. Bro, what do we call it? United we stand, right? United we stand.
That's what we'll call it.
You could see this pay-per-view last night on the Fight TV app. Only $19.99. That's pretty good deal, I would say.
I think so.
And let's kick it off. Do you have anything you want to say first?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, shout out King Firehawk, who was there in attendance in Rahway, New Jersey, entertaining me all night with live pictures on Twitter.
Now, is Firehawk also at the ROH show?
Yes.
On Saturday?
Yep.
Wow.
It's all in his backyard, so, I mean, he's going all over.
Because he lives in New York City, correct?
He lives in the shadow of New York City.
Well, same thing.
Right.
I mean, if we've learned anything in the last month, it's that New York City and New Jersey, within 20 miles or so, it's all New York City.
Right. It's directly in the shadow. So.
All right. So we kick it all off with the X Division match. It's the Ultimate X match. And I guess the gist of this is it's pretty much like a briefcase, if you will, that you can cash in for an X Division championship match. Is that correct?
It's basically number one contender. Yeah. I don't know if there's a cash-in gimmick. I don't remember. But they used to do this back in the TNA days.
Okay. So we got Jake Christ, Dante Fox, who was over at Lucha Underground, Ace Austin, Pat Buck, and Johnny Impact. Were you surprised originally when you heard that Johnny Impact was in the X Division Ultimate X match? Because he is the Impact champion.
Yes, your boy Matthews last week mentioned that he was refusing to fight for Team Impact because Cage was on the team in the big LU versus Impact match. So I didn't put two and two together thinking that he would be in this because they said they did have a competitor drop off because he was on another show. Enter Johnny Impact. So I thought that was a pretty decent storyline for the night. You know, at least they gave you something other than just, matches.
Right. Okay, so overshadowed was the Dante Fox Inverse 540 that he did. And of course, it was overshadowed by the Ace Austin jump off the top of the scaffold about ringside. Bro, I want you to talk about this and what you thought. I got to tell you, bro, for me, I don't want that guy doing that spot for me. If those guys miss him, I mean, he flips. If they don't catch him, he's landing on his back or his head.
Yeah, well, if you notice, he almost over-rotated it, because he was so high. Yeah.
Yeah, he almost went over the guys. And, bro, that has to be, I mean, I know in wrestling they'll always do he must have been 15 feet high in the air, like on a back body drop.
Yeah.
But that dude was a legit 20, 25 feet up in the air, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I thought it was cool, too, because they played into that during the match. The announcers, they were saying, Callis especially, I don't think this what do you want to call your when you're up on the cables and you're crawling with the hands and the feet are dangling because they kept pulling each other off.
Right.
So they kind of set it up with Ace going up there. I thought he was just going to crawl across the cables or tightrope walk.
That's what somebody said. Tightrope. Is he going to tightrope it?
No. He passed the cable and went straight up to the top of that light tower. I was like, oh, my God. Please don't do this. You don't have to do this, kid.
It was kind of funny because I don't know if you noticed, but he was at the point where he was right where the cable was.
Yes.
And I think it was Callis. One of them said something about, is he going to do the tightrope walk? And then Josh Matthews, before he really committed to going to the top, actually said, what is he doing? What is he going to do? He kind of spoiled what was going on there a little bit, but my goodness, bro, that is just a very dangerous move.
Yeah. Yeah, it was sick. I mean, and that was the thing about the match. The strategy was the word I was searching for that I couldn't find it. They were all doing the same thing to try and get over in the middle of the cables to get the X, but then you started getting high spot after high spot after high spot. You had the Chris Cutter then. But boy, oh boy, this dude, it was very Jeff Hardy-esque.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy is putting people on notice, this youngster, Ace Austin.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are talking about him. There's a buzz about him. So I think him being so young and him being able to do this and carry on that Hardy-esque tradition, I think he's going to be in high demand. I really think he's going to get scooped up by NXT or AEW, or I don't know if he's signed to Impact long term or what his contracts are, but look out for this guy.
So in the end, Johnny Impact is able to climb up to the X, grab it, retain it, and now Johnny Impact is in line for an X Division Championship match. Now, does that make you think that Johnny Impact is soon to lose the Impact Heavyweight title? What are you thinking about that? Or is he going to be a double champ?
We were just talking about the double champ on the WrestleMania pre-show we did. Another example of it. And there are, I think 2 matches on the G1 New Japan ROH show that are title versus title type thing. Mm-hmm. Between the companies. So maybe double champ is the new fad.
Yeah, back when I was young, anytime you had that happen where it was title versus title, I mean, it almost always ended in, some dirty way,
right,
where each guy retained their title. I guess the first time that I really can remember seeing it was when Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior wrestled. Was that WrestleMania 6?
Mm-hmm.
They wrestled title for title, and the Warrior went over. I mean, I think before, I don't remember before that seeing somebody win 2 titles.
Yeah,
but
I don't remember.
It seems like it happens every now and again. We see it now.
Yeah, I guess Ultimate Warrior was first double champ in history.
We'll have to keep an eye on Johnny Impact and see where he goes from here, whether or not he will cash in, if you will, and hold both titles.
Yes.
Next match. Did you have anything else on the X Division match?
The only other thing I wanted to talk about was the audio issues.
Oh, jeez.
From the beginning into the Ultimate X match, and I think they had a spot in the back with Moose and his fellow teammates. Man, somebody's got to figure out how to do analog sound. Because they couldn't figure out how the hell to get the announcer sound and the camera's sound, and they didn't have the mic, the crowd mic'd. You could tell that because you could only hear sporadic applause once in a while.
Yeah, it literally sounded like the 3 guys behind Josh Matthews clapping. I mean, it was terrible. And I discussed with you earlier today about the lighting. Those lights in the corners were so friggin' bright. I remember when you and I went to that show in Indiana, Pennsylvania, they had bright lights on like that. And when we took our seats at first, the bright lights were on, and I said to you, oh my goodness, I hope they turn those lights out or I'm not going to be able to see anything.
Yeah.
And they did turn those lights out. But my goodness, those lights last night stayed on for the entire show, and every time the camera was, pointing in a corner where something was happening, those lights were that bright that, they were a problem. So we had some lighting issues, some production issues, some sound issues. I don't want to beat them up, but Impact is, there was a time, and I don't know if it's still the case or not. Impact was the number 2 company in the United States of America, the number 2 wrestling company. Now, I know everybody wants to do a show on WrestleMania weekend. I would say, and I don't know if you would agree or not, but I would say as Impact Wrestling, they got to be better than that. They got to do better than that.
Yeah, they should at this point do better than that. I'm pretty sure Pat Buck, and Firehawk's going to kill me for this if he's listening. I can't remember what company he runs. Pro Wrestle something, I'm not sure. But during the match, they said this was his home turf. So I almost wonder who booked this place and what did it cost? Because Impact may have looked at it like it was a dirt cheap way to put on a show.
Right.
And that may have been why Pat Buck was in the match representing his company, because it was a United We Stand, and it was cross-promotional show is what it was. So, yeah, but they have to do better. They can't take this stuff lightly if they want to compete with everybody else.
Yeah, with the darkness, when the show was on and you could see, the lighting on the ring with the scaffolding, it looked pretty cool, actually. It looked fine.
Right.
But boy, oh boy, when I was watching the pre-show and they were showing, some of the autograph tables and stuff like that, I mean, the place they were in looked like my high school gymnasium where I graduated from high school. I mean, that's what it looked like to me.
Yeah, well, it was a rec center there in Rahway, so that's basically what you're looking at. You're looking at the YMCA gym, you know what I mean?
Right. Yep. All right, well, let's move on to the Team Impact versus Team Lucha Underground. We had Cage, Eddie Edwards, Moose, and Tommy Dreamer taking on Aerostar, Drago, Daga, and Marty the Moth. Your thoughts on this 4-on-4 8-man tag match?
I like the surprise of Dreamer. Like we said, Johnny Impact was supposed to be on this team. He wasn't. So going into the match, we had no idea who was going to be the 4th member. And when Dreamer's music hits, of course, you couldn't really hear the crowd, but you could see the crowd get up and start cheering. I wonder what it actually sounded like because you couldn't hear it. But it was probably a cool spot, cool moment.
Well, he's pretty popular in that area, no?
Oh, yeah. Well, EC Dub. It's EC Dub territory right there, man. So,
yep.
Marty the Moth. Martin there. Haven't seen him in a while. He looks slimmed down from what I remember him.
Well, bro, I know you don't know this, but he was out with a broken arm for a while.
Oh, was he?
In Lucha Underground. Pentagon Jr. got to him. And I'm sure he was clanging and banging the whole time he was off. He did, and again, if you haven't watched Lucha Underground Season 4, spoiler alert for you, but Marty the Moth was the Lucha Underground Heavyweight Champion for a time. So, and he put on some very good matches.
I did not know that.
Yes. So Marty the Moth has come a long way from just being that crazy, goofy guy that he originally was on Lucha Underground. So I'll tell you another thing that I noticed in this match. Well, I shouldn't say I noticed in this match because I've seen it with Lucha Underground and I've seen it with Brian Cage before. But, bro, when you look at the size of that guy and look at some of the shit he can do,
yes,
it's unbelievable. Like, how he's not in the WWE, I'll never like Vince McMahon would fall in love with him. I really believe that.
That's a no-brainer, man.
This guy does the lucha spots. He'll do a Hurricane Rana. I mean, you name it. Jumps out of the ring, over the top rope, whatever. He does all of that shit, bro.
Yep, you'd be able to book him like a giant too if you wanted to, like just sell everything. I mean, he'd probably do anything.
Absolutely, the guy is fantastic. So we did see one of those spots where Dreamer backed up for what looked like it might have been a jump out of the ring, but he got a little bit clear mind there as he approached the ropes and just walked out instead. So he didn't do any jump there. So Team Lucha Underground actually got the win there. Were you surprised by that?
Well, I wasn't, because I like the fact that, and again, 2 matches, minor progressing of a storyline, but Moose spearing Cage. He turned on the team, which makes perfect sense because going into it, Johnny shouldn't have been teaming with them. Moose, being the heel that he is, shouldn't be teaming with them. Right. And they told that story. They at least addressed the fact that, yeah, he's not gonna stay legit here. So I thought that was pretty good too.
So Moose didn't care.
Moose did not care
about winning the match. He just wanted to get over on Cage. All right. Next match. Taya Valkyrie. Woman's champion. It'd be knockout champion, correct?
Yes.
Versus Jordynne Grace versus Katie Forbes versus Rosemary. And bro, as I'm watching this, the first thing I noticed is Katie Forbes did everything she could to give me a lap dance when she went into the ring.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Funny we both noticed that.
Yeah, were you familiar with her before?
No.
Like, yeah, I had no idea who she was, but
we do now.
Wow, she has some ass action going on there, bro.
Yeah, you know what's interesting about that? We were talking about Jordynne Grace. Looks like she got new ring gear, maybe, because she was not. That ass was not hanging out. Boy, oh boy, Katie Forbes' ass was hanging out.
Yeah,
but I never saw her before this.
Yeah, I had no idea who she was or anything. So, so you got your fatal 4-way knockouts championship match. Thoughts?
Well, you know I'm loving me some Rosemary because of that stuff they're doing on Impact with her. I thought the show at this point kind of calmed down. I don't want to say it hit a wall with this match, but it hit a wall with this match. Su Yung also came out, who we know from watching last week's Impact. Rosemary, they were in the undead realm there, and Su Yung showed up, so I guess she got out of the undead realm. Again, another storyline advancement. And I thought this was interesting because I wasn't expecting any, because it's Thursday, 11 p.m., WrestleMania week, multiple promotion show. I didn't expect any of this, so we're 3 for 3 here with storyline advancements.
Right. Did you feel like Rosemary in the actual match, the Fatal 4-Way itself, did it seem to you like she was not used very much in that match? It's just, I would have expected more from her, I guess, is what I'm saying. I was kind of disappointed in the way she was used in the match.
Yeah, not a whole lot of spots
for
her. Yeah, I don't know. But I guess they wanted to focus on Taya and Jordynne Grace because that's what they've been doing on the show.
So Grace hits the finisher on Forbes, but Taya kicks Grace away, jumps in, and gets the 1-2-3 count using Jordynne Grace's work to get the win, just like a good heel should do.
Right.
Next match.
She's fantastic, by the way, Taya.
Oh, she's very fantastic. Good. She is very, very good. She's learned a lot from Johnny Morrison, and there are times where if you watch her in some of the things that she does, her stance, just different movements, you would swear that, you could tell that she's working with Johnny Morrison because she looks a lot like him in some of the things that she does.
It's funny, they're kind of morphing into each other.
Are you saying Johnny Impact is morphing into Taya?
Somebody's morphing into somebody there.
LAX, Santana and Ortiz verse. Bro, come on, are you kidding me?
Oh, here we go.
Your main man, the Hitman. Low Monkey and Ricky Martinez. Dude, you had to be jumping out of your skin to see Low-Key again, because I know you are just the biggest Low-Key mark there is.
Yeah, I'm not a huge Low-Key guy, if you can't tell. Yeah, this was MLW versus Impact. I need to check out MLW because I keep running into stuff online.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure they put their show up on YouTube every week.
Yeah,
So,
I think we checked into that recently, and they're all there. Like you can watch them
yeah,
from the very beginning.
because it seems like they are creating a little buzz for themselves. I think I do want to check it out, but I think this match, I'm kind of becoming an LAX fan too.
Mm-hmm.
This match to me is exactly the opposite of what we've been complaining about on our WWE review shows. It wasn't fast. It wasn't the four of them in the ring the whole time. It was like an actual tag match, and they were actually working in such a way where you knew it was a tag match.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I was happy with this. LAX went over, right?
LAX did go over. They won by pinfall. Ortiz pinned Martinez and got the win for LAX. And bro, the other part of LAX that is cool is, well, first of all, the guys they can work in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
They can talk, they can cut a promo, and they do some funny stuff with their promos. And then they have Conan, who is, I'm learning that Conan seems to be he's a real natural on the microphone. Yeah. I mean, the guy is I think he might be, you could say, one of the best in the business with the microphone. So this team is a lot of fun. Do you expect them to take back the Impact tag team titles anytime soon?
Yes, I would say before Lucha Brothers exit to AEW.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, do we know, are the Lucha Brothers, are they done with Impact Wrestling when AEW begins?
I think technically we don't know that.
Okay.
I'm just assuming that based on, them signing. But again, it doesn't matter. We've been talking about this a lot. If they're not contractually, I am searching for words today. This is crazy. AEW property.
Right.
Written deal. Then, I don't know. I guess it could carry on for as long as they want it to. But, is it fair to say that when they're doing their promos, like you were saying, they're fun, they can cut a promo, they have Conan there, it kind of reminds me of the Briscoes. Like when you see their stuff.
Yes, I would agree.
They all just seem natural and, no memorization of scripts and
no, it
crap.
just seems, what I like about it is it seems like they're just guys who are being themselves. And that's why the Briscoes are fun to watch, because those two guys don't change who they are. They are them boys.
Right.
They are reach for the sky.
Right.
I mean, that's who they are, and they don't change that. They don't try to be anything else. And I think it's the same thing with LAX. They are who they are, and that's who when they cut their promos, they are themselves.
Yes.
And they do a great job at it.
Yeah, good match.
Tessa Blanchard taking on.
Oh, yeah.
Joe White's main man, Joey Ryan. In fact, a lot of people don't realize that Joe White was named after Joey Ryan.
Right. His actual name is Joey, but he dropped the EY there, that sound.
Well, only his family and his friends, his closest friends, call him Joey White, but for the rest, he dropped it to Joe White. Just to make it easier, WWE does that. They drop one of the names and they just have one name.
Right.
So White felt like he had to drop one of the syllables to keep up with the WWE. So Blanchard versus Ryan, this was pretty much what you see when you get Joey Ryan in the ring. Tessa Blanchard. Although I will say that, there was some wrestling in this match. There were some good moves in this match. And Joey Ryan treated Tessa Blanchard like he would any other man in the ring.
After the show, I was looking at some United We Stand hashtags, and a lot of people were saying that this was the match of the night. I don't think it was, but I could see why they were saying that, because there were some good, solid wrestling spots in between the nonsense.
What I like about Tessa Blanchard is when she's in the ring, whether she's hitting the ropes or, she throws her opponent into a turnbuckle and then she's charging the opponent into the turnbuckle. A lot of times, and I'll probably get killed for this, but a lot of times when you see women work that stuff, they seem very timid. They're very timid about hitting the ropes. I think of Sasha Banks. When they're, running into a turnbuckle, they're very timid. They don't have a lot of speed or aggression. Tessa Blanchard is not that. Tessa Blanchard she's all go when she's in the ring.
You know what?
Fantastic job.
Now that you're saying that, I'm looking at my paper here. Jordan Grace, Taya Valkyrie.
Mm-hmm. Same thing.
What isn't NXT doing that these girls are learning on the indies? It's a great question because I absolutely agree with you. And if you take just basics, like what you're saying here, Tessa, Taya, and Jordan Grace, and compare them to, let's take Charlotte out of the equation, but pick any other 3 women right now on WWE programming. Maybe move Asuka out of the equation too. But all those underlings, if you will. Who would you take? Who would you rather have in your company? I would take Tessa and Taya in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. Hell, I might even take Jordan Grace.
Sure.
Over some of those others. So, I mean, let's face it. When you're talking about the WWE, for the most part, they are kind of going for the woman that has some looks about them. It just seems like that's the way they tend to go. Now, that's not everybody. It's not 100%, but it's what they look for, I think. Where, some of these other gals, they just have, an incredible... you think about Eva Lise even. Now, I know she has some problems with, health. But hell, she was with WWE first, right? That's where she got trained. She was in that gimmick that they did, where they went to train and all that shit.
You know what? Now that you say that, it could be the Bill DeMott factor. Because he trained Eva Lise, but he's not there anymore. Like, she's back in that NXT before it was NXT type thing.
Right.
That contest, if you will,
Right. Yep.
That could be.
So, yeah, good match. Couple of things. Number one,
yes.
Joey Ryan comes down and he has a lollipop in his mouth and he puts it in the mouth of someone at ringside. Are you accepting that lollipop?
Never.
No, me neither.
Never.
Bro, Joey Ryan's mouth? Are you kidding me, bro? No way.
That poor fan has 1,000 diseases now. Just from a lollipop.
No, he was a mark about that.
Oh, he took it. Yeah.
Too, bro. Oh my God. Just like, Tommy Dreamer spitting the water in Eddie Edwards' mouth. Are you kidding me, bro?
Well, Edwards is crazy too, so.
Well, you were named after him, so. And then the other thing I have to say is, Ryan always pulls these lollipops out of his trunks, okay? So, bro, I got to believe that if you're Tessa Blanchard, before that match takes place, you're pulling his trunks out to make sure he has on another pair of trunks under those trunks.
Right.
And make sure that lollipop is nowhere near his, his pube hairs, because there's no way you're taking that lollipop in the mouth unless you're 100% sure on that.
That was an awesome spot. I loved it. He also gave her a German by grabbing her breasts.
Yes.
That was awesome. And I like the story they told with the penis as well. White's driving off the side of the road as he's listening to this. The story of the penis was he opened with the penis. Mm-hmm. And instead of her grabbing, she gave him the finger. Mm-hmm. But the penis, in the end, got its way because she did eventually sell the penis spot. So.
Right. But it wasn't enough for Joey Ryan.
No, wasn't enough.
Tessa Blanchard gets the win. And we move on. Rich Swann, the X Division champ, taking on, is it Flamita?
I believe that's how you say it.
Okay.
Flamita.
So, your thoughts on this match, the X Division Championship match?
Uh, I think this was probably the best quote unquote match of the night. I think if you're looking for the wrestling match, using air quotes,
So you're
this was
saying
the one.
if you're looking for the flippity flippity flop.
Well, not just the flippity flop, but the clean, high spotty moves.
Right.
Yeah. But it was very clean. Good match, I would say. Dude, Rich Swann. I was talking to the Electric City Saint as I was watching this last night, and I said, why did he get fired from NXT? And the way the Saint phrased it was, the story was true about the spousal abuse, but he said it was unfounded, but they cut him anyway because of the pressure. Now, do you know what the story is here? Because when I look at this guy, I kind of see Kofi Kingston. I mean, for obvious reasons, they're built the same, similar hairdo, similar moveset. But dude, this guy I think he's tremendous. I don't understand why they would just cut him if that was unfounded. Those accusations were unfounded. But we've seen this. If you get accused of something, you're out. So do you know what the truth is here with him?
The only thing that the WWE, when they made their announcement, I'm reading their statement. It just said, Rich Swann and the WWE have mutually agreed to part ways as of today, February 15th, 2018. Now, that came right after Rich Swann was arrested for domestic violence.
Okay.
So he was arrested, and before he even had a trial,
He
was released by
Okay.
WWE. So, and dude, that's the way this stuff goes now. I mean,
Yeah, it's true.
I'm not going to turn this show into a Rise of Liberty,
Right, and I don't want to do that either, but
that's the way of today. I mean, if you're accused of something, where in this country it used to be, U.S. Constitution and all says innocent until proven guilty. It just doesn't seem like we operate that way anymore. I mean, now if you're accused of something, oh my God, that's it. You're guilty.
right.
I gotta believe it. I gotta believe the accuser,
Yeah, and if you're listening, put it down in the comments. Let us know, because I don't really know. I'm seriously asking what the deal is here, because if somebody just wanted to take away his career by accusing him or whatever, and it was undocumented and unfounded, and he was never charged with the crime and all that stuff, they did a good job, because, I mean, I see this guy, and I'm thinking he's better than the entire NXT roster, maybe sans Adam Cole. You know what I'm saying? Like, this guy is legit.
So what happened was he was arrested. He was arrested in December of 2017 for domestic violence. In January, like the last week of January, his wife dropped the charges against him. And then 3 weeks later, after the wife dropped the charges, WWE cut him.
Wow.
Released him. Do you know the wife?
No.
Vanara Riggs, who wrestles on the independent circuit as Sue Young.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's interesting. That's a twist in the story.
Swann and Riggs had an argument, and Riggs jumped out of the moving vehicle when Swann refused to pull over. A witness told the cops that Swann then ran after Riggs, grabbed her by the arm, put her in a headlock, and forced her back in the forced her back in the car. He was arrested on charges of battery and false imprisonment. But the charges were later dropped by the wife, and then the prosecutors decided that they had insufficient evidence to charge him without the wife's testimony. Now, bro, for all we know, this was all a work. I mean, hell, they could have been just putting on a wrestling match out there on the highway. We don't know.
They could have been.
You have these barroom matches and all this stuff. I mean, why couldn't you have a turnpike match or something like that?
Right, the turnpike match.
So that's the whole Rich Swann thing.
Okay. So what did you think of this match?
No, I thought it was a good match. You said about it being the purest match. There was also a part in there, even though they were doing, that kind of stuff, the wrestling stuff, but there was a little part in there where, man, they were just wailing on each other and chopping each other, kicking each other. And that was pretty cool, too. A little bit of almost, I want to say, of a strong style kind of look to it.
Right. I guess that's where I'm going with him. Like, for now, he's carrying the X Division Championship. Could you see him doing a tour in New Japan? I could. I think he could be a star over there.
Oh, I'm sure. Absolutely. No doubt about it.
Okay.
Do you see him? Will he one day wind up back in the WWE?
Well, they've done that in the past, too.
Mm-hmm.
Trevor Lee, for one, got popped with the old sexist, racist tweets, and he's in the Performance Center right now. So, yeah, I could see it. Maybe over time, when everybody forgets, when they think everybody forgets,
Well, I think probably everybody's forgotten already.
Right.
So. Okay. Jimmy Havoc versus Sami Callihan, Monsters Ball match. I know this was the one that you were looking forward to the most.
Yes.
Your thoughts on the Monsters Ball match?
I enjoyed it. I thought it would be more, but I enjoyed it. It was different. It reminded me of the old school. These two guys are obviously carrying the torch for the hardcore. A lot of cringeworthy spots, and I'm not saying that because it was bad. I'm saying it made me cringe when he bit into the lemon. Dude, if anybody has ever had a cut on their hand and touched lemon juice to it, it hurts.
Mm-hmm.
That's like torture.
In your eyes, too.
Oh.
I mean, he just sprayed that lemon all over his face.
Kudos to Jimmy Havoc. You want to talk about hardcore? Ouch.
And, Havoc did a great job with the spot where he was knocked down before the blade. He kind of positioned himself where his head, I think, wound up under the ring, didn't it? So,
yes.
Like, you couldn't see him do the blade job. It was perfect.
Perfect. Yep. So for that type of match, I thought this was great. And they made a point of it, to say this was the second one. The first battle was in the UK. They shook hands afterwards. So I think what I was expecting, when I say I was expecting more, maybe they are saving it for a third match down the road. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because it was kind of controlled a little bit more than I would have expected.
Yeah, they fist bumped at the end of the match, I think is what they did. I don't think they actually shook hands. And I wanted to get that out right now rather than going on a show later on and responding to your response. So.
Also, there was a spot there where he took Callahan's shoe off.
Yes.
And cut the in between his toes. Again, these guys are thinking hardcore, but they're taking it to another level with actual, like, they're not smashing glass or light tubes or barbed wire. They're doing these cringe. Dude, when I saw him do that and then he poured salt on his feet.
Yes.
Dude, that's pretty, that's an intelligent way of adding a layer to it.
Absolutely. And what was it? It was like he was giving him paper cuts.
Yes.
Unbelievable. Paper freaking cuts.
And then they bring out the Legos. And for guys that, you don't have kids, I have done this 1,000 times and it hurts like
walk on
bitch.
A Lego, bro.
Oh my God. And those big ones, I've done it. As soon as he dropped them, I went, oh no, I know where this is going because I've done it. the 2-year-old in a daze wakes up at 3 a.m. and you didn't pick up the Legos. That feels really good when you're barefoot.
Well, bro, and Sammy Callahan at that point when he's giving him the DDT to win the match, he's or not DDT but a pile driver. He's barefoot on his one foot, standing on those damn Legos.
Yeah.
So I got to be honest with you. There's a lot about these matches that I don't like. I was never a big hardcore guy. I'm one of those quote unquote purists that kind of look at this stuff sometimes as wrestling porn.
Right. Bret Hart.
Yeah. The stapler. I hate that shit, man.
Dude, I hate the stapler. It goes through me.
I don't need those guys to take a staple in their body for me. Now I know, like, they probably have the real short staples that don't go in very far. But, dude, they're stapling pieces of paper to show that the staple is, they're showing you there's a damn staple there. It's not just, a fake, an empty stapler.
Right. It's not gimmicked.
There's a stapler in there. I'm stapling it right onto his arm or onto his head or whatever. Ay.
Crazy.
That stuff is crazy. But I will say, kudos. You're right. Absolutely right. Kudos for the lemon spot. And also kudos for the paper cut and salt spot.
Yes.
Those I did like. Those I did enjoy because I thought that was them really thinking outside of the box. Have you ever seen that before in a match like that?
Nope. See, that's what I like in the hardcore matches when they think, when they think a little bit. It's just not a train wreck. They're actually putting some intelligence in it.
It's going to be great when Triple H does that to Batista and everybody's talking about it, Oh, nobody else would ever do this. And then the main event, bro. Your boys, the Lucha Brothers, Phoenix and Pentagon Jr., took on Rob Van Dam and Sabu. And bro, I'm going to give Sabu some love here because I'm not a crazy Sabu fan. But, bro, for his age and for what he's put his body through, the guy still looks fantastic, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And I got to say this, too. I know at one point he shaved all the hair.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the hair was gone. I was expecting the bald Sabu. But he's got the hair back. Now, of course, it's, he's got a little hairline issue there, but he's old. What do you want from the guy? But, yeah, right. Dude, he looked great. For what I expected, I thought, oh, this is going to be possibly a train wreck. But on the flip side, dude, does RVD age?
I don't think so.
He looks exactly the same.
Yeah, I don't think he does age. Not at all.
It's crazy.
But one thing I noticed about this match, a lot of kicks in this match.
Yes, a lot of kicks.
The Lucha Brothers do a lot of kicks. I mean, they're constantly doing the super kicks. I mean, bro.
Very young buckish.
The Young Bucks get killed for the super kicks, but I'm telling you, Lucha Brothers are not far away.
Mm-hmm.
If you would count the numbers in a match, I don't think they're very far away from Young Bucks numbers on those kicks. Now, yeah, they're not yelling out, super kick, like they are for the Young Bucks, but they're still doing that stuff.
Sure.
So the spot of the match was, of course, the table, where Sabu and RVD came down on the two Lucha Brothers on the table. And I got to tell you, bro, I was a little disappointed. And I don't know if they were up against time or something. This was the last match. It was a very late show. It didn't start till 11 o'clock at night. But, bro, they did not sell that table spot very long.
I'm pretty sure it was because they were up against it, especially how it went off the air.
Yeah.
The lights were out. You couldn't even see them in the ring together. Like, they were up against time. That's what that was.
Well, that's what I wondered because, man, oh, man, I was kind of disappointed that, that spot happened. And then, hell, they're up on their feet in no time.
Yep.
So.
Yep, I think that's what that was. But the timing, bro. These two old guys, they're supposed to be slowing down, right? RVD is up on the top turnbuckle, and he's waiting for Sabu, and Sabu looks at him, and they both nod to each other. They hit about as close in sync as you can. And these are old guys, bro.
Yeah, and bro, I didn't think that was going to happen.
Either did I.
If you were watching Sabu, it looked like he was having trouble.
Yes.
Getting up there, but as soon as they give that little nod, he just jumps.
Unbelievable.
His 1 foot is pretty much on the second turnbuckle.
Yeah.
When they give the nod, and boom, he just flies.
Yeah, he just did it in one motion. He was just up in the air. It was amazing. It was amazing. Kudos to those guys.
Yeah. Nice little spot there for Sabu and RVD.
Yes.
Sabu is on the receiving end of a double super kick. Gets the double stomp, package pile driver combo, and the 1, 2, 3. That ends the match, and the Lucha Brothers get the victory. Send the crowd home happy, perhaps. What were your thoughts on the pay-per-view as a whole? Would you say that you were, let's put it this way, did you feel like you got more than you expected, less than you expected, or exactly what you expected?
More than what I expected.
Okay.
I did. I thoroughly enjoyed this for 1999. Thoroughly enjoyed this. And as a matter of fact, there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 matches, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I didn't find myself bored at all throughout the card.
How about that?
I would challenge anybody on Sunday, if you can go pick the back 8 matches or the front 8 matches of WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. See if you get bored. Because I think they had this, I mean, I was surprised. For $20, I didn't know what to expect. But I would say Impact and Lucha Underground, if you want to say AAA, whatever, I think they delivered, man. I really do. You had the Johnny Impact shock. You had the Dreamer surprise. Gave me a little rosemary. You had a good tag match. You had Ryan and Tessa putting on a good match, even with the gimmicky stuff with the lollipop and all that stuff. It was entertaining. You had Swan and Flamita, which was a straight match. You had the Monsters Ball match. And then you had the 2 legends versus the 2 hot tag team members of Lucha Bros. If you look at that, the way it's planned out, there's a little bit of something for everybody. Mm-hmm. I liked it. I liked the show overall. And I know a lot of people are banging on Impact, again, on Twitter. Oh, the production sucked and problems and this and that. Yes, I understand that. But from a wrestling card standpoint, I think this was a lot of fun, again, for what it was, which was a WrestleMania week cross-promotional show.
Right. And, again, I don't know what it is about Impact that everybody loves to hate them. Mm-hmm. Are they aware that Dixie Carter's not there anymore? They're trying to do things a different way. We've been watching them pretty steadily over almost the last month. Mm-hmm. They put on a pretty decent show. The numbers are low. Yeah, absolutely. Was this the best production I've seen from a show? No, it wasn't. But I think the value that you got with the in-ring stuff was fantastic.
Yeah.
So what are you complaining about?
Right. Stop complaining. I think there's just going to be people out there that complain about Impact no matter what they do.
Night it, we stand show.
Nope. Good show. I think if you want to go back and check that out, even though it happened already, I think you'll be entertained for 2.5 hours. I'd recommend it.
So will you be watching anything tonight from the New York, New Jersey area?
No. But let's say this. If you made it this far and you're listening tonight on SOS, at some point I will be doing an Impact TV show review recap. And we will also have Captain of Chaos, Captain of Swag, AC. He will have an NXT show tonight, post NXT. And he may have a special guest with him. Yes.
Okay, that's a tease.
It's a tease.
Okay, then. So we'll wrap this up for General Stames and Hollywood Edwards. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next here on SOS.